Prop 10. Renters in California typically pay 50% more than renters in the rest of the country, and in parts of the state, rental costs can be more than double the national average. And in response to the high cost of rental housing in California, several cities throughout the state, including multiple large cities such as Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose, have enacted laws that limit how much landlords can increase rent from one year to the next. And these laws are commonly referred to as rent control or rent stabilization. And while there are several cities throughout the state that have rent control laws on the books, a state law that is commonly referred to as Costa-Hawkins limits the type of local rent control rules that cities and counties can impose. Costa-Hawkins places three main limitations. First, rent control cannot apply to any single family homes. Second, rent control cannot be applied to newly constructed housing that was completed on or after February 1st, 1995. And finally, rent control cannot limit how much a landlord increases rents when a new renter first moves in to a unit. Prop 10 proposes to repeal the limits on local rent control rules that are created by Costa-Hawkins. This would mean that cities and counties could impose rent control on any kind of housing, including single-family homes or new construction. And rent control rules also could limit how much a landlord could increase rents when transitioning a rental unit from one tenant to the next. The measure would have several effects on state and local revenues, including property tax, income tax, and sales tax revenues, with the largest effect likely falling on property taxes. Over time, the measure could result in a net reduction in state and local revenues in the tens of millions of dollars per year, but it's important to note that these effects depend on many factors, and the biggest one is how cities and counties respond to the repeal of Costa-Hawkins. Repealing Costa-Hawkins in and of itself would not make any changes to local rent control laws. If rent control laws were to be expanded, it would require subsequent action by cities and counties. If cities and counties respond, or if few cities and counties respond by making changes to their rent control laws, then the effects of this measure could be limited. If, on the other hand, many cities impose expansive rent control rules, then the fiscal effects could be even larger than tens of millions of dollars per year.
Thank you. So in terms of endorsements, we have Democratic organizations in favor of it, the Democratic Party of California included, Democratic Socialists of America, Feel the Burn Democratic Club. In opposition, we have the Republican Party, the Libertarian Party, and other GOP organizations. In support, we have tenant and housing rights organizations, faith institutions, Latino Equality Alliance, the ACLU of California. Also in support, we have the California Teachers Association and California Nurses Association, other public employees and other sorts of unions. And then in opposition, we have builders organizations, chambers of commerce, veterans organizations, Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association, California Association of Realtors, and also the state NAACP and housing organizations and construction groups. In support, we have Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg and other members of the state legislature and city council members. In opposition, we have other members of the assembly. Antonio Villaraigosa also is in the opposition. So you actually have Democrats and Republicans in opposition on this one. And then as far as the media goes, we have the LA Times and SAC-B in support, and then in opposition, we have several other state newspapers. The funding is coming from AIDS Healthcare Foundation, California Teachers Association and Nurses Association, and other unions and individuals. And then the no funding is coming from property organizations, realtors, and other, mostly around real estate sorts of organizations. And the funding is lopsided on this one, with the bulk of it in opposition. There's quite a lot of it. Questions about Prop 10? Okay, all right, I'll take it.